Welcome everyone to the CFO Swinger Watch newsletter's technical analysis video for the week of May 28th through 31st. Hopefully you guys all had a great Memorial Day weekend, and thank you to everyone who is currently serving or has served in our military. Now, before I begin, make sure you guys are always reading the newsletter first before you watch this technical analysis video. Remember, I have way more details on what our actual swing trade ideas entail for each single week. For example, I provide the exact option contracts that we need to be looking to execute on for each single swing trade idea, or the exact 3-point game plan for each swing trade idea using equity only. And again, that is just a small snippet of what the weekly report says, so make sure you guys are not only watching the technical analysis videos, so make sure you guys are reading the newsletter first. With that, let's take a look at the markets. So as usual, we have the S&P 500 or SPY. And last Thursday, we had a pretty cautious sell-off day. But if you guys just take a look at the actual size of this move down compared to how much we've risen since this low pivot point that we saw back in April 19th of this year, this looks very minuscule, right? I mean, this looks like it was just a very quick move to the downside. There wasn't any type of real selling going on, any type of real institutional selling going on at that. But again, it is something to note. It should keep you on your toes. However, to me, I don't think it's something that you guys need to be worrying about, especially heading into such a short trading week like this week. And I love the fact that on Friday, after we lost the daily 10 SMA by closing below it, just a slight close below the daily 10 SMA, or this red line here, on Friday we opened up with a nice small gap up, and then we closed upwards and above the daily 10 SMA. And so last Thursday's price action may have been a slight fluke for some very quick and short-term bears to come in and get out very quickly, right? So on Friday here, I think we can see and continue to see a low volume melt up higher into new all-time high territory. And so far, we have also extended our price range from 524 to 532. Okay, so remember, in the past, it was 524 and then to 530. However, our ceiling had to be raised. As we saw in the past 2 weeks, that ceiling was broken to the upside as we continue to make new all-time high levels. And so far, this 532 level seems to be the whole number level resistance that we need to be looking out for. And so if we're able to break over 532 this week, then we should continue to rise up higher and higher until we take out last Thursday's high, or the current all-time high number of 533.07 or $533.07. Now, personally for me, this is very subjective. There is no rule that I'm using, no technical analysis that I'm using to make up this level, but I think that we can potentially top out somewhere around 540, right? 540 is basically our next target if we are able to stay over $530. And so again, I'm just using an increment of $10, a difference of $10 to look for the next all-time high top. And so 540 is the next logical level, and also it's a whole number level. So again, this works out well for us if we do see that low volume melt up that I just mentioned a couple minutes ago. So again, this is all subjective. There's no technical backing to this at all, no technical analysis involved here. I'm just using simple whole number levels. All right, so that's basically it for the S&P 500, but now I kind of want to go over IWM before we look into our swing trade ideas for this week. So IWM has actually intrigued me a little bit more now because last Thursday, this one obviously, small caps, right? Small and mid caps have been lagging. We all know that, right? They've been lagging for years on end. And so, this year, okay, let me show you guys here. All right, just at the start of this year and also the last few months of last year, we saw some very good bullish momentum and volume coming in to the Russell 2000 or ticker symbol IWM. And it was the same for mid caps or ticker symbol MDY. And we essentially saw a lot of good institutional volume coming in as well. I mean, you guys can clearly see this on the actual volume bars on every single time that we had a nice pop up to the upside. And so to me, this tells me that institutional buyers are still in this market cap, the Russell 2000 or the small caps, and there's still an opportunity for this specific market cap to continue to go up higher. Now, what's interesting about this ticker right now is that after achieving a nice pivot and a nice reversal back to the upside, we are yet again met with some heavy resistance around this 210 level. And we seem to not be able to go over this 210 resistance level. Now, last Thursday, we eventually broke below the daily 10 SMA. And we also broke below the daily 21 SMA, this light blue line, and we closed below it as well. And ultimately, last Thursday's low retested the daily 50 SMA as well, or this dark blue line over here. And basically what happened was similar to what happened with the S&P 500. We got a nice small gap up, and then we closed up higher for IWM as well. But instead of coming back to the daily 10 SMA and closing over it, we eventually ended up closing over the daily 21 SMA and the daily 50 SMA again. And so this one, to me, it seems like the price wants to tighten up. And whenever we tend to move sideways in between the daily 10 and the daily 21 SMAs, we tend to just simply go back and forth and range trade between the daily 10 and the daily 21 SMA. And in this case, we'll be using the 21 SMA as an area of SMA support, and then the daily 10 SMA will be used as an area of SMA resistance. And so, I really want to hone in on this when we do see the eventual retest and rejection at this daily 10 SMA, which currently closed at 206.91, or we can just simply round up to 207, and we can see eventually a retest of that level, that whole number level of 207, or this daily 10 SMA, and that rejection. And once that occurs, I really want to hawk in and focus on whether or not small caps can squeeze back to the upside and break over the daily 10 SMA and stay over both of my short-term momentum SMAs, the daily 10 and the daily 21 SMAs, and eventually retest 210 so that we can finally reach the profit targets that I've been waiting on for the IWM or the Russell 2000, sitting at 216.20 and then 226.50. Again, I was especially bullish earlier this year that IWM can continuously move up higher for this entire year, especially if we were to see some good rate cuts coming in near the last half of this year. And so, as we all know the story by now, the markets have been a bit sluggish, especially the IWM here and MDY. Again, small caps and mid caps have been very sluggish because of the fact that the markets seem to be a little bit less confident on the fact that the Federal Reserve is going to cut rates. But now, it seems like we can continue to look forward with the markets and at least expect one rate cut. I also expand on this in this week's newsletter, so make sure you guys read the market summary as well. All right, so again, for IWM, I will continue to hone in on this if we do see that tightening price action in between the daily 10 and the daily 21 SMA, so that we can potentially start a new IWM position to the long side that can potentially, have us in this position into next year, 2025. All right, so with that in mind, let's take a look at our first swing trade idea. MARA, that's right. We are looking at this ticker once again. So nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed so far is that we have reacted to this 22.50 whole number level. And again, I mentioned this level last week, and it was our first short-term profit target for our long entry point over this $20 whole number resistance level. And so last week just basically completely confirmed that this 22.50 whole number level is in fact a daily resistance level. And also the retest of this whole number level at $20 from Thursday and Friday clearly demonstrated to us that this is now a new level of support. Because again, last week it was an old level of resistance, but for the fact that we've retested it and then bounced on Friday confirms and tells us that we are looking at this level as a new level of support. And so I love the fact that we are able to flip from a resistance to a support level at this $20 whole number level. All right, now here's the thing. For this week, if we are able to get another retest at $20, even though I would not like that at this whole number level since we have retested it twice already, last Thursday and last Friday, but if we do get that retest at $20, we can get a potential bounce entry at 20.10. But again, I do not want that because that means we'll most likely be breaking below the daily 10 SMA and also just seeing a third retest back to back from last Thursday, Friday, and potentially even tomorrow. If we do get that retest at $20, that will be bad for buyers, and that will clearly indicate that buyers are not strong here at this $20 level. Okay, so for us, well, for me personally, I would want to be looking at this 22.50 whole number level as our breakout entry point. And that's the reason why I gave you guys this breakout entry point or confirmed breakout entry point over this 22.55. Again, it's over the 22.50 whole number level because we want to get that official confirmation that the price was marching over this 22.50 whole number level resistance. Right? And all the price targets are still the same. So make sure you guys read the newsletter for the rest of the swing trade idea. All right? So the next swing trade idea for this week is RL, Ralph Lauren Corporation. All right, so this is the expensive, apparel and footwear company. Right, Ralph Lauren, RL. And the reason why this has really attracted me for this short week is that, first of all, last Thursday it had some earnings, right? And earnings reaction was initially to the downside. However, when we made that move to the downside, it actually held a pretty critical level of support on the daily time frame and on the weekly time frame, and that is 159. And it had a drastic reaction at this 159 level, and it continued to move back up higher and higher and higher until it ended up nicely green and up over 3% on the day. So a complete reversal. And during this reversal, the price was able to retest a critical level of resistance as well on the daily time frame, and that is at 171.00. And on top of that, that retest of this 171 resistance level resulted in a retest of this daily 50 SMA or this dark blue line. So this coinciding retest ultimately provided some pretty hefty resistance near the close of last Thursday, and that's the reason why we saw a small rejection. However, I'm not too worried about that because on Friday of last week, we actually got a complete breakout out of this 171 whole number level, and we were able to close over this daily resistance level as well. And I love the fact that we're able to break over the daily 50 SMA as well. And that officially brings us to the fact that the price is now over all of my major SMAs, short-term and long-term SMAs. And again, the short-term pair is the 10 and the 21, and the long-term pair is the 50 and the 200 down here. And that really tells me that this stock is very, very strong, and this should be one of the easiest swing trade ideas to execute on this very short trading week. And so for our entry point, if we do see a retest of 171, which I am actually expecting personally to happen maybe even tomorrow, we should be able to see a retest of 171 and possibly a retest of the daily 50 SMA. Maybe that daily 50 SMA retest might be the low of that day whenever this happens, or well, whenever we do see a retest of 171. And so if we do see a nice bounce, which we should see a bounce thanks to the breakout over 171, our official bounce entry point will be 171.10. Now, if you guys want to keep it simple, or if we do not see a retest of 171 and the daily 50 SMA as a new level or area of support or combined support, we should be able to see a simple entry point over 174.10, or simply over the previous high of the day, which was at 173.64. And again, that number comes from last Friday's highs or the previous high of the day. Okay, so make sure you guys read the newsletter as well to get the full swing trade idea on Ralph Lauren. And last but not least, we have BIRK or Birkenstock. This is the footwear that everyone goes crazy about or has been going crazy about. I personally do not know the hype, but maybe you guys do know about this Birkenstock hype. But again, I'm not too fond of footwear. I just like to wear anything that really is, well, comfortable for me. It's all about being comfortable for me and kind of ease of access for my foot to go in and slip in. So, I'm not really into all the hype between sneakers or basically I'm not a sneakerhead. So, Birkenstock, this one is also pretty interesting as well because, first of all, just like with Ralph Lauren, the way that the price closed last Friday officially confirmed that this stock is now over all of my major SMAs. And again, Birk is a recent IPO, so it does not have the 200 SMA. However, the daily 50 SMA was just brought out back in December of last year, and last Friday's close officially brought the share price over the daily 10, the daily 21 SMA, and the daily 50 SMA as well, the trifecta. So this one should continue to move up higher because last Friday we had a jump in volume. We had nearly almost a double in the average daily volume that you guys can see here on the top left. So last Friday we had 757,000 in volume compared to the average daily volume of 430,000. And with the fact that we have earnings coming up on May 30th, which is this Thursday, I fully expect this one to have a nice rise in share price leading up to earnings. And I want us to take advantage of that share price and trend. So again, this should be clearly a momentum moving stock. Again, obviously, the volume is a bit dismal. We tend to look at stocks that are at least minimum 1 million and over on the daily average volume. So this one is a bit illiquid. And also I kind of give you guys the reason why we are seeing less option contracts to use for this swing trade idea. So make sure you guys read the newsletter first. But Birkenstock here, again, it broke out of this very nice bull flag, this very wide trading range between 46 and 48. But if you take a look at the intraday time frame on the 2-hour time frame here, one of my favorite hourly time frames, everything just looks perfect, right? We are now breaking over and closed over this descending resistance trendline that again makes up that entire flag here, and also acted as a huge level of resistance between this 46 and 48 price range. But at the same time, we're able to break out of this, when we were able to break out of this descending resistance trendline on Friday, we also were able to retest this $48 upper range resistance level and close over this $48 whole number level as well. And so clearly the price wants to move up higher with volume, since last Friday was full of volume as seen by all of these 2-hour volume bars. And so for our entry point, I want to see a nice break over the previous high of the day, which was at 48.13, or simply we want to see an entry point once the price moves over 48.20, which will give us that official confirmation that this one looks to want to continue up higher and break up higher. Okay, so if you're back on the daily time frame, again, this one has had an amazing Friday last week with a nice extended bullish range. So if we're able to continuously break over 48 and possibly maybe even just retest 48 early tomorrow morning, we can continue to move up higher until we reach the next major whole number level of $50, right? $50 right over here. All right, so hopefully we can reach this $50 whole number level right before earnings. All right, so that is it for this technical analysis video. And if you thought this TA video was insightful, make sure you guys leave a like down below. And if you aren't subscribed yet, I don't know why you guys wouldn't be, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button as well. And on top of that, make sure you guys hit that notification bell if you guys want to know when I am live or when I have uploaded a new video to this channel. All right, good luck, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for watching.